How are we all? Welcome back. It feels weird, does this? It feels very strange to be back doing this, especially after life's been just a bit everywhere. But it's just that time of year, isn't it? Welcome back. It's nice to be back. It's nice to have you all here and yeah, chatting general crap about football, whether it's good, bad, or Burnley at the moment, pretty ugly. Either way, I've got someone who's going to take that ugliness away. Someone who's a younger model. I've brought a younger model along. We'll speak to Jake in just a moment. But thank you very much, everyone, for the love and support, asking me when I'll be coming back, doing videos and stuff. I really do appreciate it. I'm not even that well today. I had a dodgy takeaway last night. Woke up, don't feel too clever. Um, so yeah, it's not just the results in Burnley that are bad; it's also the takeaways. Nothing is good in Burnley at the moment. The weather's shit, the team's shit, and the takeaways make it an hat trick. Closest thing we're getting to one of them anytime soon. Anyway, we have a match coming up this weekend, and yeah, a few familiar faces in this side. But here's who we face this weekend. It's the Hammers. The Hammers come to Turf Moor, and yeah, just probably written in the stars, isn't it? The Hammers are here to put the final nail in the coffin. To be honest, I was speaking to Jake on Jake's channel last week actually, and I'm sure that's going to go out or already out. I'm not sure. My head's up my arse. But either way, we were chatting, and he's not too happy about the way things are going. Similar to us in a little sort of yeah. We've got a bit of mutuals in that sense. But it's nice to have someone who feels like they're not the only claret and blue side that aren't doing particularly well. Let's have a look at the comments then before we get into it. Starting off with Henry, nice to see you in. Just coming to give you a like. Can't stay as I'm live at 8, but enjoy your video. Appreciate that. Hope you are well. Mr. Cox himself, the big cock is in, and we'll get the little cock on screen in a moment. Well, hope you're doing well, Rich. Green Street Elites are in the building as well. Rich said Burnley must be dreading Ings' return. He always seems to bag against us, to be fair, which isn't great. But I'm sure you'd be happy if so, because finally you'd get something out of him. Not exactly doing a Haaland at the moment. No, he's really not. He's really not. It's nice to see everyone in as well, nice and early. And yeah, as I say, it is nice to be here. It is nice to be here. But massive hello to you all, and feel free to tune in. We are going to be being a bit more frequent on here as well, so please do get yourselves involved. You can also become a member of the channel as well. It's only 99p. I don't know why I decided to go Scottish when I'm not even from there. It's just the ginger beard. It comes out of me. But you can get all those things there. Going to be adding to it as well as the year goes on. But yes, it's only 99p per calendar month, and it really does help the channel grow. You can find us on all the social medias going along the bottom of your screen. But I'll tell you what you're here for. You're here to see that younger model I told you about, aren't you? So here he is. It's Jake, everybody. How you doing? Right? I'm good. I'm good. Apart from the takeaway fiasco. Other than that,
a couple of things. I was just about to say I'm going to order some new headphones because they've just been bashed by those two intro videos. And also I'm just going to write down never get a takeaway in Burnley. So yeah, I'm all set, ready to go.
How have you been, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, listen, I wouldn't go as far as saying West Ham have been as bad as Burnley. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, maybe not that bad.
No, it's been all right. It's been okay.
Tell people a bit about yourself and where people can go and support your channel, because you do some amazing work at West Ham Unofficial. So yeah, it's growing and growing. like I say,
Bit
fire
like me.
away with your socials.
Yeah, you can find me on West Ham Unofficial on YouTube for all your fan channel malarkey. If you want a bit of West Ham, head over there. I've got a preview with Dan coming out very, very soon as well. So if you want to see even more of him, God knows why, you can go over there and check that out in the next couple of days, and we'll have a normal preview and all sorts of stuff building up to the game. And if you're not a Burnley fan or a West Ham fan, go over there. You might find something you like. You never know. And yeah, West Ham Unofficial on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter as well at West Ham Unofficial. But apart from that, that's me done.
Happy days, happy days. The link to Jake's Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. The link to Jake's X sounds a bit weird.
Twitter, we'll call it Twitter.
Yeah, we'll just keep it Twitter. Jake's Twitter link and YouTube page. I think the Instagram page is in there as well. I'm not sure, but there is links below for you to go and check out West Ham Unofficial. So please do. However, let's get into it then. I mean, let's start off. It's the 23-24 season. What have you made of it so far and West Ham's performances?
Yeah, it's been up and down. We started off really, really well. Well, we looked at the fixture list and we were dreading the start of the season. Chelsea, we don't beat. Brighton, we hadn't beaten before in about 15 years or something ridiculous like that. And we managed to beat that curse. Managed to be the first team to beat Luton at home, which doesn't sound like a massive feat, but I was expecting a typical West Ham for us to be the first team to give them 3 points. That didn't happen. Lost to Man City and Liverpool, beat Sheffield United, drew to Newcastle when Kudus sort of sprung onto the scene. Then it all went downhill from there, really. We got battered at Villa, a dreadful defeat at home to Everton, a not very good defeat away at Brentford, and then started to pick up a little bit with a win over Nottingham Forest. And here we are, find ourselves up against Burnley.
I mean, what obviously, I think you said it on your channel as well. David Moyes has come under a little bit of scrutiny recently. I mean, it's a bit like Arsenal over the years of a trust in the process. Like 1 minute it's like, yeah, we're going to win the league. Next minute we're not. But with Moyes, it's like the results are sort of like that with his management style. I mean, how's it been this year? I think you said to me the other day that if it wasn't for you getting the winner in the dying minutes in that previous game,
yeah,
you know, you were screaming at your TV like, Moyes, just empty your office, do one.
Yeah, no, it's been frustrating, and to be fair, for a huge proportion of last season, everyone wanted him gone, and then we won the Conference League, and we had a good start to the season, which got him a bit of credit. But the trouble is, the way we're playing is we're going to come and stick 9 men or 10 men behind the ball, and try and defend, give you 80% possession, and do it on the counter attack. Now that's okay if you're going, if you're winning, but when you're not, it's dreadful. We lost to Everton at home, which we just simply shouldn't be doing, and we couldn't break them down. Sean Dyche did an absolute job on us, and it was painful to watch. So that's the downside of what's going on. The issue with the debate with Moyes is, for me, it's slightly irrelevant because I know he's not going to get sacked unless we go on a 6 or 7 game losing streak. He's not going to get sacked unless something drastic happens. He's not going to go until he runs his contract down and quite probably leaves West Ham at the end of the season. But there's just a big proportion of the fan base that are just fed up with the way that we're playing. I mean, it's boring with the players we've got. It's the best squad of talented players we've had in my lifetime. I know that's not very long, but a lot of people have said for a good 20 years this has been the best group and talented group of players we've ever had. And at the moment, they're being wasted. The talent and class and pace and everything's just being sucked out of them because of the way that Moyes wants to play. Now, individuals have shone through and showed their class, Kudus and Bowen especially, that have got us out of holes on various occasions so far this season. But the main factor is, I mean, look, with Moyes, and when we lose 2 or 3 games in a row, everybody goes on the Moyes thing, and then you click on TalkSport, and they're all going, "You can't sack Moyes, you can't sack Moyes. Look what he's done for your club," and all the rest of it. Trouble is, these people don't have to watch West Ham every week. These people don't travel up and down watching this crap every week. But it's okay when we're winning, but when we're losing, it is really, really painful to watch, and that's where the issue stands currently. But if you look at it on paper, we're 9th in the league, we're in the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup, we're top of our Europa League group. So as long as these things keep ticking over, then he'll stay till the end of the season. And unless we go and win another trophy, I think he'll leave at the end of this season. But yeah, it's been up and down so far.
I mean, speaking of up and down, obviously your feelings when, Noble retired, Ras finally got put to bed. He left West Ham. We've seen it with other clubs. Aston Villa, sell Grealish. If anything, it strengthened them. Brighton seem to keep churning out a gem somehow that doesn't seem to work at Chelsea when they move, but it happens. I mean, obviously you must have felt a little bit like, yeah, okay, it's been coming for a long time. But do you feel like you could almost be in that Aston Villa mold of in time it will get better? I mean, you've managed to keep hold of some big players as well, haven't you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we all knew Rice was going to leave. That was going to happen. It took longer than it should have done in the end, but we got the money that we wanted for him. So that was put to bed. And to be fair, at the start of the season, our midfield balance was so much better without Rice there. Alvarez, who we brought in from Ajax, has been really, really good. He picks up a yellow card every game, which is a slight concern because he's not too far off of the 2-game 10-card ban already, which is a concern in that sense. But he's done the number 6 Rice role really well, sweeping up in front of the back line. Souček has blown hot and cold, and then whether it's been Paqueta or Kudus that slotted into that third midfield position, the balance has been better. So yes, of course, we've missed Rice. He's a brilliant player, world-class footballer, and he was when he was at West Ham. He didn't just turn world-class overnight when he joined Arsenal. That just didn't happen. He's a very, very good player. And of course, there's going to be a noticeable miss there. And for the first time against Villa, it wasn't until late October that was the first time I said we missed Rice today, which I think is good for this team and the way we started the season. But overall, of course, he's a miss. But I think we filled the hole relatively well.
Yeah, it's I mean, would you have snapped somebody's hand off if they said coming up to Christmas you could potentially be in the top 10, still in the Carabao Cup, top of the group in European competitions? Would you have snapped somebody's hand off for that right now?
Absolutely. And that's the difference. And I use that sort of stat, ninth for the league, etc., but it's fine margins because if we wouldn't have beaten Forest, if we wouldn't have scored 2
you sound
goals,
like Sean Dash now, fan margins. Oh,
we scored late at the death to win, and if we didn't win that match, which would have been a possibility, we'd have been 15th, and I'd have been sat here now as West Ham 15th in the league. So listen, it's tight at the moment, and that just shows one win, a 10-minute burst has catapulted us all through the international break from 15th to 9th, and that's a huge monumental difference in the sort of context of of the Premier League table. So that I'd have snapped your hand off at this stage for what we've got currently, and as long as we keep ticking it over and as long as we keep picking up points, if we can progress through and beat the Scousers just before Christmas in the Carabao Cup, that'll be excellent. And I'd expect us to go through in Europe. So, we're currently fighting on all fronts, which is a good thing. But I do fear that Kudus and Bowen have been massively sort of bailing us out with goals, and they're not going to score every. Bowen is third in the Premier League, scoring charts at the moment. He's not going to stay there all season. You're kidding yourself if you think he's going to stay there. He might be up there, but he's not going to be fighting 1 or 2 goals off of the Haalands and etc. He's just not that natural goal scorer. So he's started really well, and the majority of the goals have come through Kudus and Bowen in the last few games, and I'm hoping that's going to continue. But injury news is saying otherwise currently.
Yeah, how's things looking on the injury front? I know you said off camera that since we last spoke, there's been 3 more injuries to the squad. Tell us a bit more about the injury list.
Yeah, so I spoke to you on Thursday, and it was it Thursday or Friday? I don't know. And it was all hunky-dory, and I was saying, we hadn't had any. And to be fair, we haven't had a major injury at all yet this season. And of course, I tempted fate a little bit, and Bowen got injured in training for Bore and Gareth Southgate, which was completely pointless. Antonio pulled his hamstring. We are yet to know the severity of all of these injuries because you've got 3 different journalists saying he's out for 9 months. You've got 3 different journalists saying he's out for 3 weeks. So we don't know the severity. And then things nearly completely toppled over earlier when Garner announced that Kudus has got a slight back issue, but he did come on for 45 minutes today for Garner. So if that's aggravated it even more, West Ham are going to go mental, but hopefully it was just a little niggle and Kudus is going to be okay. But currently, as things stand, it's very unlikely Bowen's going to be involved, and it's definitely not going to happen in terms of Antonio, which means, and the whole point of a thumbnail, Dan, is you put one of the players' best players on the thumbnail. God knows why we've put Danny Ings on there, because he's going to start up front, and I might just back it in, to be honest with you, because you're going to have the joy of watching us lump the ball up to Danny Ings, who's about 5'8", can't head a ball, can't win a ball, has got no pace, and has lost his everything. But yeah, apart from that, it's all right.
It's strange to hear that about Danny Ings. Very strange to hear that. When you've, I suppose, when we had him, he was still quite young. Burst of pace, was scoring goals with his head, feet. So see, sort of, I don't. Yeah. I mean, compared to the strikers we've had, like Ashley Barnes and Sam Vokes, nothing against them, brilliant goal scorers and things, but wasn't blessed with the pace that Ings or Andre Gray had when they were at Burnley. But it's just written that someone like Danny Ings crops up with a goal on Saturday, which I'm not looking forward to, because it always happens.
I tell you what, I'll be staggered if he scores. I will be absolutely staggered. He will start now, because Bowen and Antonio are out, which absolutely pains me to say. To be honest with you, he will start the game unless Moyes is going to be a little bit adventurous and try something different, but I doubt it. I'd expect Ings to be up front, and I'm expecting you to probably see what I'm talking about here, because I mean, you've mentioned pace there. I'm trying to think of a joke about Danny Ings and pace, but I genuinely can't, because I've seen not 1 ounce of pace in the year he's been here. He scored 2 goals, 2 very important goals in a win over Nottingham Forest last year that we needed. They were 2 tap-ins, but a goal's a goal at the end of the day. But apart from that, he's probably, and I know I'm young, he's probably the worst, if not one of the top 3 worst players in a West Ham shirt I have ever seen.
Oh,
and I'm young, and a lot of people will disagree because they've seen a lot. They've seen a lot of players.
Yeah, of course.
But honestly, I just can't. He's just got no purpose at this moment. He's going to score a hat-trick on Saturday now. But
yeah, you've so dumbed him down now. He'll be like, oh, a Burnley West Ham, I played for both clubs. I'll have a watch of this. Oh my god, that Jake's right. That's it. I'm going to prove this lad wrong. But no,
honestly, it's all been since he's had his hair chopped off. He went to some hair clinic, and I thought he was going to get an improved hairline, and it's all gone. he must be the only person in history.
With the pre-season videos.
Yeah,
the pre-season videos when you they visited some sort of like zoo, and then he had like a boulder. Then I was like, whoa, what the heck is this all about?
He must be the only person to go to a hair clinic. Must be the only person to go to a hair clinic and come out with less hair than you walked in with.
When he went in.
Anyway,
at least I have the decency to wear a hat. I mean, another former claret amongst the ranks, Maxwell Cornet, probably he's up there in your top 3 for worse as well.
No, he's not actually. He's not, because
no, but he's 4th or 5th.
He's not. No, the thing with Maxwell Cornet is I genuinely feel for the lad, and I take the mick out of him every now and then, just because I feel like it. But he hasn't been given a chance. The lad hasn't been given a chance. He had a really bad injury. I think he did his ankle or something. He had quite a bad injury that put him out for a big part of last season, and he's never had a look in. He played a couple of Conference League group stage games last year where he looked half decent, a bit of pace that we've been desperate for a long time. And I saw that Burnley fan on Twitter put a sort of highlight reel on of Cornet at Burnley, and I'm like, oh, thanks a lot, because he just hasn't done anything to he's been sloppy when he has played, but there's a lot of players in this squad that have been given 10 times more opportunities than Maxwell Cornet has, and I do feel for him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, what's the latest on that front? Because obviously it came out that he had some sort of disease or something, or that injury that was quite bad. Really, it could have halted. Could have even potentially ended his career. Is that also another one of them things with West Ham, that you are trying to be precarious about how you use him and when you use him?
See, I'd agree if he's played more than 5 minutes so far this season. I genuinely don't think he has, to be honest with you. He may have played one Europe game. And I think he's come on for 2 or 3 minutes at the end. He's never had a 20-minute super sub spell that I can remember. I think it's frustrated the fans because, as I said, there's a lot of players that I don't think are good enough that get the Europe gigs, get the Carabao Cup gigs, and Cornet just sits on the bench or sometimes doesn't even make the bench. So that's frustrating because I genuinely think if we'd give him, a decent run in the side, which currently at the moment in the Premier League is difficult because everybody who's in the side at the moment warrants to be there. But there were stages last season where players were playing for the sake of it because, he just didn't want to use anyone else and they were just really, really poor week after week. He should have been given more opportunities. That's the bottom line. We haven't properly seen a decent spell to warrant a conclusion of how he's been. And I remember speaking to you when we signed him, and you said, "Brilliant player, he'll be really good." And I was buzzing for him, and he's just never got going. And I don't think it's entirely his fault.
No, I mean, like you say, it's just one of them things in football where some players get the rub of the green, they get lucky, they get a good spell, they go through barren spells as well. Speaking of barren spells, I mean, obviously Burnley, a lot of people, I think yourself, you said that when you're dissecting the games every week on your channel, that you're always asking like, what's happening. A lot has been expected of Burnley, and the season they had in the Championship, the way it's gone. As an outsider, what have you made of Burnley? Are they doing the right things in terms of the way they're playing football, or do they need to go back to basics sometimes? Maybe. How do you see that?
Yeah, we do a Premier League roundup show on my channel. I've got me, a Spurs fan, and a Villa fan, and we always just sit there. And whenever we come onto the Burnley game, and it's just like company's not going to change his ways, and they're struggling. And the main point that we seem to reinforce every week is that I'm struggling to look through that Burnley lineup that comes out every week and see a leader. I may be wrong. A leader, a voice, and some Premier League experience to get these heads together, get these young, inexperienced but exciting talents together, and just roll the troops a little bit. And company's not going to change his ways. And I link it to Steve Cooper and Nottingham Forest last year. They came out with 15 new signings last year, tried to play a brilliant brand of football, and it didn't work, and they were sat at the bottom of the table at a similar stage. Steve Cooper put the brakes on, parked the bus, and they stayed up, and they're now an established Premier League side, I think it's fair to say, at the moment. And I think that's what Burnley have got to do if they want to stay up. Company's got to have a mindset change because these players aren't currently or haven't shown that they aren't good enough to play the style of football he wants to play. Whether it's just a time thing, and you mentioned to me the other day it's about a project, and these players probably aren't ready for the Premier League yet. And if that's so, then if I was company and if I was the owner of Burnley, I'd be signing a couple of older, maybe an experienced English centre half just to come in, and maybe a striker for a bit of a focal point up front, and do what sides have done in the past: put the brakes on, park the bus, grind out 0-0s, grind out 1-0s, and just pick up points, because this is a really, really poor bottom half of the table this year. Last year was poor, and this is just as bad, because I mean, with the Everton points deduction, that's given you a bit of incentive now as a fan base, I'd presume, because they're down level on points with you again. There was a bit of a gap that was arising between the three that had come up, and then the pack ahead of them, and Everton have been pulled back down into that. Whether you agree with what's happened or not,
no,
it's happening now.
I totally agree. I mean, we're one of the front runners for having something to say on that, because it all started the financial fiasco. The season we got relegated, so that season is when they started, splashing the cash like they had no care in the world. The only issue with that is they could face another 9 points added onto that if they have to, fork out 300 million to ourselves, Leicester and Leeds, I believe.
Which I don't think will happen. I don't think that'll go through, to be honest with you, because I mean, I can see the case for it, but at the end of the day, because anything can happen in football. You went down that year because you probably deserved to go down.
Yeah.
And whether Everton breaking the rules or not. Burnley, Leeds were really poor that year, and those teams deserve to go down. Now, I don't know how the Premier is going to react to this lawsuit or whatever, but if there are going to be more points, then that's probably going to open it back up. If there is a further 9 points, that puts Everton really on the back foot. Currently, I think they'll stay up still. I think there's enough there at Everton to stay up. But if they get more points deductions, that's when you start thinking, are they really going to have enough here? And that should give Burnley that incentive to go and, we can still do this. And I'd imagine the confidence in the fan base and probably the dressing room currently is at rock bottom at the moment, and company's got to pick that up. And I hope it's against Sheffield United the week after, but we'll see.
We will. I think going back to what you said there as well about how you said it'll be a case of playing the ball over the top to Danny Ings. That's something that sort of frightens us now. Not just the fact that the ball's going to Danny Ings, but playing that style of
not with Danny Ings, he can't head a melon.
but this is the thing, though. We can't defend for our lives at the moment. Set pieces we've been awful.
Set pieces will be where we score then. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what Arsenal were playing for when we played them at the Emirates. It was a case of they knew full well they had heart and strength over us. On the corner routine, so they were hoping that they'd get a lucky deflection every single time, and we played into their hands. But like I've said, going from a team that usually quite resolute from set pieces, very good defensively, we've sort of become the team that was the team getting defeat, receiving the 1-0 defeats from Burnley. We were doing that, what you said, pumping the ball long, nicking a game 1-0 here and there, doing the hard stuff. Right now, we're trying to match the opposition, and that sometimes really doesn't play into our hands because you're prone to counters, especially with the high defensive line. I think it was like I said to you, I think as well, last season when we played QPR, we got beat 2-1. We got Burnley. It was difficult.
And that's what's going to play into West Ham's hands because we've struggled this year. We've struggled this year. We beat Sheffield United, but it was a really, really tough grind to get a 2-0 win out of them, to be honest with you. And, we have struggled against sides that have sat back and went, you come and, you can have the ball, and basically West Ham or Burnley, the team that we are. And I feel like if you're going to play that expansive style of football, we will beat you on set pieces, I think. And that seems to be a fundamental issue with Burnley's game at the moment. And with lumps like Souček, Zuma and Agurd, they're big old lumps and they can head a ball, that's for sure. With Ward-Prowse putting them in as well, I'd be highly surprised if we don't at least score from a set piece in this game. Because if that's where you say you're vulnerable, then I think that is definitely where Moyes will be looking to exploit. And on the counter as well, if Kudus is fit, if you're going to play up, if you're going to chuck men forward, if you're going to try and be expansive, then we have been deadly against the likes of Brighton and even Forest a couple of weeks ago on the counter attack. And that's where we've hurt teams, and that's where we will hurt teams that try and come out and play against us. Yes, we might concede a couple, but the chances are we'll score a few as well.
Yeah, Scott's put in here. Have you seen the proposal of the new perception of the offside rule? I mean, what do you make of that?
Was that what Wenger wants to do? Was it something like that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I saw two floating about on Twitter where there's got to be daylight, or they're going to use some sort of different system. To be honest with you, I'm fed up of talking about VAR because it's doing my head in. It's absolutely doing my head in. And I actually think the likes of Sky and TNT and all the rest of it, like analysing every decision, is not doing it any good. They need to take the pressure off of these refs. In my opinion, because they're frightened at the moment. If the VAR haven't got a clue, they just send the geezer over to the monitor because they think I'm going to just shift the blame over to somebody else. They are frightened. They are treading on eggshells at the moment, and it's not helping by the mainstream media battering them every single week for any decision of forensically analysing it all, and that's why it's continually decreasing. And the refereeing's crap, yes, but we've just got to get on with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is a fair shout. Obviously, we're fast approaching the Christmas period, which means, yes, open your presents, do what you do, spending time with the family and stuff. and then blink and it's January. Where do Scott says here? Would you be looking at Championship players in January, or where do you think you need to strengthen in particular in January?
Get rid of Danny Ings and buy a striker. Is what I do. Buy a proper striker. I think that's, we've brought in what's his name? Tim Steiden. We brought in a technical director who actually knows what he's doing. He revolutionised Bayer Leverkusen over in Germany from a crap side to a very, very good side. And he signed. He went and got Kudus. He went and got Alvarez, and they've been very, very good players so far. So we've got a technical director who knows what he's doing currently, which helps. And I think we'll go for a striker. Apart from that, I don't think there'll be too much else, to be honest with you. A striker, Iheanacho or Daka. I don't know. A bit of pace would be gratefully received, to be honest with you. But look, I think Steiden's already been looking outside of England. He'd actually get on a plane and go and get players. So I'd expect a name that no one's ever heard of to come. But apart from that, I can't see a great deal of business from our end. If I was you, Dan, I'd be hoping for a few Brexit names to come in, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think I said it to you that I'd prefer to have kept hold of Ashley Barnes or something like that, just as like a fatherly figure in the dressing room. I think, Scott, with your comment earlier as well about the keeper situation, I was saying this to Jake as well, that it was only 3, 4, 5 seasons ago now that something needed to change at Burnley, and Sean Dyche tried everything other than take Joe Hart out the side. Tom Heaton came back into the fray, and we won the game. And I think we went on a run of results. But again, you'd think, what, really? Changing the keeper changed your results? Like, why are you talking trash? But it really did, because sometimes having that voice at the back, I'm not saying Joe Hart didn't have a voice. I think we've all heard it when he was too close to the microphone asking for the ball. But he's... it changed the mentality. I think maybe it instilled a bit more confidence in the back line. And you see just these little tweaks, seem to work. And I'm not saying that that's what we need to do. I think James Trafford is very, very young, still quite inexperienced. We've brought him in from playing League One football last season for a big amount of money. But the more game time, the more development, the more tactical know-how, the more positioning awareness. And I know these are all things he'd work on with a goalkeeping coach anyway. But
massively changes your side, though.
Yeah. They say time is money. At the moment, the only money we're going to get is probably from relegation. But obviously,
I wonder where you were going there.
Let's see what happens. I know a lot of Burnley fans are asking for Muric to go back in, but who knows? I mean, Green Street Elite says here, go and get Brian Mbuemo from Brentford. I mean, that would be a real shout. Because a bloke who looks like he's in his 40s and he's still very early 20s, the guy is phenomenal.
He is a brilliant player, but the only issue with that is Brentford aren't going to let him go, especially not in January, unless we put a serious amount of money on the table. I think he's a very key and pivotal aspect to the way Brentford play, and they aren't just going to let him go for 20 or 30 million. I think with the market currently, they will be looking for a hell of a lot of money for him, which I think is going to be out of most people's transfer budgets in this January window, and because it's January as well. And I don't blame him for that. Listen, the market is inflating as it is in real life, and players are going to cost a lot more, especially in this January transfer window. And he's worth X amount of money for Brentford, but nobody's going to pay what I think they'll want for him. So a brilliant player, but I just can't see him leaving Brentford, especially in January.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Right then, back to the game. The main criteria, the main thing we need to know is obviously taking the trip to Turf Moor. I was going to say it's an hard place to come to, but clearly this season not. I mean, you've said about the injuries, the starting lineup could be a bit mismatched. That said, give us your score prediction. How do you think the game's going to pan out?
Yeah, I was thinking 2-0, but the injuries haven't filled me with any confidence. I'm thinking we cannot be the first team in about 10 games to lose to Burnley at home. We just can't be,
You
surely
were going to
not.
do it then, weren't you? You were going to do it to Burnley. It was there. It was there on the tip of your tongue.
No comment. So I'm not going to say 2-0. I'm going to scale it back a little bit and go 1-0, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw. I think last time we came to your place, it was a 0-0 draw just before Christmas. I mean, it's not just before Christmas now, despite your Christmas hat. But I think that should be illegal until at least the 1st of December.
It's just a beanie.
Oh, I thought it had the whole red thing on the back.
No
Oh.
chance. No chance.
Oh, no, that's all right. Okay. No worries. No worries. Yeah. Have you got your tree up, though?
No.
Oh, good.
Definitely not.
Oh, I like it.
No Christmas decoration around
I like it.
at the moment.
I
Not
approve. Yeah, 1-0 I'll go. And just for the laughs, I'll go Danny Ings to score his third and final goal in West Ham shirt.
You've dogged him. You've absolutely dogged him. And that's like, yeah, he'll go back. He'll become an instant hero when he gets the 3
He
points.
won't become a hero when he scores at Burnley, I can guarantee you that.
It'll be a goal of the season contender, though, because that's all we seem to concede goals from. It won't surprise me if he scores a header from 35 yards or something and he gets goal of the season. Honest to God, that's just what it seems to be.
The only thing he's doing from 35 yards is kicking it to Blackburn. I don't know which way it is to Blackburn, but
Oof. Well, to be fair, he's got good good knowledge of putting it in the back of the net at Blackburn anyway. So
I see.
Maybe maybe he should be all right there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say I want to say that we'll get 3 points, but I just don't know where they're coming from at the moment.
Yeah, it's not coming.
So
1-1.
We're either going to play out for it's either going to be a scored draw, or a bore fest. But you know what? I'll stick my neck on the line. I'll go 1-1. Who knows? Maybe Burnley to lick a late winner. I nearly said nick a late winner. I meant not lick out at the minute. Oh, we keep getting licked every week. But that's about it. Everybody else is saying Anthony clearly, as per usual, has to say that Burnley get battered everywhere they go. Obviously,
everywhere they go.
And your dad's gone 2-1, which I think is a good shout. Dylan's in, says Connor Roberts has to come back in, I believe. And if we go down to the Championship, I think we'll only lose a few players and come up massively cooking with Odobert and Luca Kogliosho absolutely cooking. For West Ham, Dan obviously was on about for Wemmo. Scott says, let's hope you don't have to wait till the end of the season and be fighting everyone for last safety spot. They'll probably give players an incentive to stay up as an outside deal. Scott's gone 1-1, which is fair shout as well. Green Street Elites is same as you, hard fought 1-0. Anthony says, question, is Bowen injured?
Yeah.
And
I'll be incredibly
tune in at the beginning, Anthony. Tune in at the beginning.
They only just got him back to Rush Green, the training ground today, I think. So they haven't properly assessed him, but I'll be incredibly surprised if he plays on Saturday, to be honest.
Yeah, and Dylan says here we can score in the first half, but then we slow down massively. If we can see a first 45 minutes out without conceding on the stroke of the half-time whistle, I'd be very, very happy. Again, Jake, I know you've got to rush off, so thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Again, tell people where they can show support to you and your channel.
West Ham Unofficial, you can find me over there for all West Ham stuff. Yeah, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It's going to be something like that. And yeah, I'm just intrigued because I haven't watched a full Burnley match this season. So I'm just intrigued to see somebody, a little bit of different style of football. And who'd have thought it, when you were rocking through the Championship last year? Oh, this new style of football's flipping brilliant, isn't it? You all want Sean Dyche back now. And there's no denying it.
Where's the tissues? I'm going to cry. I need to cry. You
need to cry.
I never thought you'd upset me. Never thought.
Sean Dyche should touch the subject, does he?
Yeah. It's just a ginger thing. We should have stuck together,
Oh dear.
I never thought removing a ginger from Turf Moor would have removed its soul, especially when we thought we never had one. It's not fair. Burnley. You had to get it in.
I had to get it in.
Chips and gravy. Chips and gravy. Please do go show your support to Jake as well. Does some fantastic stuff. Next year, I'm telling you, this lad right here will be at the FCAs and he'll be picking up an award. I'm telling you now, you will, if you can get the time off work. Either way, it's good to be back. We'll be back potentially this weekend with a watch along for the game. So do potentially join us for that.
You don't turn up, and then I come along. You say, "Oh, let's give it a go again." Now you're coming back again.
So, yeah, see, that's just how it is, Jake. I just can't be around without you. That's what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, you just need me.
Need. This is going to start. This is turning seedy, and I'm the older one. But no, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us back. Thank you for tuning in. As I say, if we're not back this weekend with a watch along, we'll be back on Wednesday next week when we will be speaking to Ollie from who's a Sheffield United supporter. That should be.
You can cry together
game.
then.
Yeah. We can just go on. Hey Ollie, how are you? I'm not well, mate. You? Me neither. End the stream there. But no, it should be good. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Like I say, please do follow us on all our socials. Go check Jake out. Great guy. And good luck for the rest of the season. I'm sure you won't need it. I'm sure you'll smash it when the injuries all come back. But for Burnley, something has to come about, and hopefully it's this weekend. Who knows?
Part of the bus.
Mate, I'd happily lie down on the flaming goal line if it meant stopping all. It somehow go through me. Burnley all over. But thank you for watching. Stay safe, and whatever you're doing, just remember, up the claret.
I'm on your line.